Hello everyone. Today we are going to look at drop-down lists, and more specifically we're going to look at coded value domain, which helps in the reducing amount of typing, and also it keeps data very accurate because when somebody is typing, especially when they're out in the field, for example, there's a lot of chance that they could have some typos. But when you use a drop down list, you cut down on the amount of typo that they could have. So, for example, you have somebody going out in the field to collect some samples for you. What you want to do is define the domain that they're going to use. So to do that, you're going to the database that you're going to use and define from properties. You define the domain. So on the domain, say we're going to call this rare plants. And give it a description, and make sure that it's going to be text. And since it's a text, it's a coded domain, coded value, we have to define the codes that we're going to use. So we can say, for example, we have A is one that's not defined. Let's say B is cactus, C is fish, cactus, D is hedge, cactus, and E, we can call this mariposa, cactus, and hit OK. And then we're going to create the feature class that we're going to use for the data collection, since this doesn't work on Shapefile. So we're going to go new feature class. We're just going to call this plants, and make sure that it's points. So go next, 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 and then we're just going to call this label text, and then we call collection date, and state, and collector. Instead, so the label one is the one that we're going to use the domain that we just defined. So we're going to point this to the domain that we just defined, and then we can have a default value so that we don't have null. So since we had A as undefined, we're going to use that one as our default value. So we're going to put A there and then say finish. And now we have the rare plants here. I'm going to add this to our layers. Since we didn't define the projection, we're going to go ahead and define the projection for this one right here right now. We're going to data management, projections, and transformation, and just define this quickly. And we're just going to use one. We're just going to use the layers that we have here already. I'm just going to work on this, and it's good. So if we were to input, go in and start editing, and input new feature. So we got 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, and open the table right here. We can see right now everything is undefined because that's what we had as our default, and now we can just go in and pick whichever we want. So instead of somebody going in and manually typing these, they just can pick this from the drop down list, making it very simple and cutting down on amount of typing that they have to do.